5 men had a working car. They were not injured. They were not being chased. They were not lost in a storm. And yet, they left it behind. They walked away from safety and into the mountains at night. What followed was not a struggle to survive. It was a sequence of decisions that no one has ever been able to explain. This is the story of the Yuba County Five. On the night of February 24th, 1978, 5 men from Yuba City attended a college basketball game in Chico, California. They were not adventurers. They were not outdoorsmen. They were not prepared for wilderness travel. They were simply on their way home. By morning, none of their choices would make sense. Their names were Gary Mathias, Jack Madruga, Bill Sterling, Jack Hewitt, Ted Wire. They were in their 20s and early 30s. All lived independently or semi-independently. All were considered capable of functioning on their own. Some had mild intellectual disabilities. One, Gary Mathias, had schizophrenia, but it was well controlled with medication. They held jobs, they socialised, they were reliable. That night they were in good spirits. After the game they stopped for snacks. Nothing appeared unusual. They planned to drive straight home. Instead they turned east, directly into the mountains. Sometime after 10 p.m, Jack Madruga's car left the main highway and began climbing into the Plumas National Forest. This road led away from their homes. There is no clear reason why they took it. They were not lost in fog. They were not being followed. The weather was cold, but not yet severe. They passed multiple chances to turn back. They did not. The road climbed higher. The temperature dropped. Eventually the snow became too deep to continue. The car was later found abandoned at over 4,000 feet elevation. It was not crashed. It was not damaged. It was not stuck. It could have been driven back down. But they left it anyway. All 5 men walked away from a perfectly functional vehicle into freezing darkness. This is the first decision that makes no sense. From the car, the men walked more than 10 miles through snow-covered terrain. They did not head downhill toward towns. They moved deeper into the wilderness. Their footprints showed no sign of panic. They walked steadily, together. At some point, they became separated. 2 of them, Madruga and Sterling, were later found dead near a creek. They had died of hypothermia. That part is understandable. What followed is not. Nearly 3 months later, a group of motorcyclists exploring the area noticed something strange. A Forest Service trailer, used as winter shelter, had been broken into. The door had been forced open. Inside they found Ted Wire's body. He had been dead for weeks, but the scene raised immediate questions. Ted had not died quickly. He had survived inside the trailer for nearly 2 months. He had access to a heating system, matches, enough food to last a year. Yet he had died of starvation. He had lost over 100 pounds. He had slowly wasted away, surrounded by supplies. The food that was never used. The food lockers had been opened, but only partially. Ted had eaten a small amount of military rations. He had not touched the canned goods. He had not used the stove. He had not turned on the heating system. He had not left the trailer. And the door, though forced open from outside, could also be opened from within. Ted could have walked out at any time. He did not. This is the second decision that makes no sense. Inside the trailer, investigators noticed something else. One bed had been neatly made, sheets tucked in carefully. It looked as though someone had tried to make a dying man comfortable. Ted was found on another bed, wrapped in blankets. This means Ted was not alone when he reached the trailer. Someone else was there. Someone helped him. They had shelter, they had food, they had warmth. And yet, one by one, they disappeared. Not far from the trailer, searchers found the remains of Jack Hewitt. He had died of hypothermia. What disturbed investigators was that he was barefoot. His shoes were found inside the trailer. Someone had removed them, either to help him rest or to give them to another man. Even in extreme conditions, they were still trying to help each other, and yet they never made the single choice that would have saved them all: leaving the trailer. Gary Mathias, one man, was never found. Gary Mathias, the only member of the group with military experience, the only one trained in survival. Friends said he was functioning normally that night. His body has never been located. Did he reach the trailer and leave again? Did he go for help? Or did something happen earlier? There is no evidence to answer this. The trailer was not impossible to find. It was visible from the road, which means someone in the group made a deliberate decision to go there. Someone was thinking. But their thinking does not resemble panic. It resembles reasoning that consistently fails at the final step. The evidence does not support simple explanations. They were not attacked, they were not kidnapped, they were not pursued. Their actions show planning, but planning that breaks down repeatedly. They walked instead of driving. They found shelter but did not use it. They had food but didn't eat it. They had warmth but did not turn it on. At every point, survival was within reach. They just never took the final step. This case is not frightening because of what happened to them. It is frightening because of what they failed to do. Normal people in the same situation would almost certainly have survived. That is what makes this story disturbing. It suggests that something interfered with their judgment in a way we cannot see. Not fear, not force, but confusion so complete it overrode instinct itself. There is no final explanation for why they turned into the mountains, why they abandoned a working car, why they walked deeper into wilderness, why they did not use the trailer, why one man was never found. Each fact exists, but they do not form a coherent story. 5 men left a basketball game on a normal winter night. They were never meant to be in the mountains, yet they reached a place where survival was possible and still failed, not because help was unavailable, but because their decisions collapsed. The Yuba County Five are remembered not for how they died, but because their behaviour cannot be explained. The evidence exists, the logic does not. And that's where the record stops. If these are the kinds of stories that stay with you, you may want to follow the channel.